Walk into any room. Within 7 seconds, before you have said a single word, every person in that room has already formed an impression of you. Not consciously, not deliberately, automatically. Their subconscious social processing systems have scanned you, your posture, your pace, your presence, the way you occupy space, and issued a verdict. High status or low status, someone to defer to or someone to overlook. And here is what most people never understand. That verdict has almost nothing to do with what you eventually say. The words you speak exist inside a frame that was established before you opened your mouth. And if that frame says low status, the most articulate, intelligent, confident words in the world will land differently than they should. The frame is built in silence, and in the next 7 minutes, I am going to show you exactly how to build it. Why silence communicates more than words. Language is a relatively recent development in human evolution. For hundreds of thousands of years before language, humans communicated status, threat, dominance, and safety entirely through nonverbal signals. Posture, movement, eye contact, breathing, proximity, the way a body exists in space. These channels of communication are ancient, hardwired, and processed at a speed that conscious thought cannot match. By the time your conscious mind has evaluated whether someone is trustworthy, your subconscious has already decided, based entirely on signals you received before a single word was exchanged. This means the person who understands and commands these channels holds a profound advantage, because they are communicating on a frequency that most people cannot consciously detect, but everyone subconsciously responds to. You are already broadcasting, every moment, whether you know it or not. The question is, what are you broadcasting? Silent signal number 1. How you occupy space. The most immediate, most visible, most powerful nonverbal signal of status is how you use physical space. High-status individuals take up space, not aggressively, not performatively. Shoulders naturally back and down, not forced, but settled. Feet planted, weight balanced, movement that is unhurried and complete. Low-status signals are their direct opposite. Shoulders curved forward, body contracted, weight shifting, movement that is fast, apologetic, and incomplete, as if the body is constantly trying to minimize its own presence. Your nervous system reads body size as a direct proxy for confidence and capability. Someone who physically fills their space is unconsciously processed as someone who has earned the right to be there. You do not need to be physically large. You need to be physically present, fully inhabiting the space your body actually occupies, rather than trying to take up as little of it as possible. This single adjustment, made consistently, changes how people respond to you before you have said anything. Silent signal number 2. The pace of your movement. Speed communicates anxiety. Watch how people move when they are nervous, low status, or trying to please. They move quickly. Gestures are rushed. Responses are immediate. They fill space with rapid, redundant motion. Now watch how people move when they are genuinely confident. They are slower, not lethargic, but deliberate. Each movement is complete before the next one begins. There is a stillness underneath the motion. This is not performance. It is the natural output of a nervous system that is not under threat. When you are anxious, your sympathetic nervous system is activated. Heart rate up, cortisol elevated, the body preparing to respond to threat. And the body's threat response produces faster, less complete movement. When you are calm, the parasympathetic system is dominant, and calm produces slower, more deliberate, more complete physical expression. The paradox is this: you can use deliberate slowness to induce calm. By consciously slowing your movements, your speech, your responses, you communicate to your own nervous system that there is no emergency. And that signal, processed both internally and by everyone watching, shifts the entire dynamic of the interaction. Move as if you have nowhere you need to rush to, because the most powerful people in any room always seem to have exactly enough time. Silence signal number 3. Eye contact that does not apologize. Eye contact is one of the most primitive, most powerful signals in human and primate social behavior. In almost every social species on Earth, eye contact is a direct indicator of status and confidence. The individual who holds eye contact longest is perceived as higher status. The one who breaks it first is perceived as submissive. Most people break eye contact too quickly. They look away the moment they feel the slightest discomfort. And that break, unconsciously registered, communicates submission. Hold eye contact slightly longer than feels comfortable. Not in a staring, aggressive way, but in the calm, settled way of someone who is not threatened by being seen. When someone says something you disagree with, do not look away. Hold, pause, then respond slowly. This sequence, hold, pause, respond, communicates something that no amount of words can. That you are not rattled, that you have considered what was said, that your response comes from a place of composure rather than reaction. There is also something called the triangle technique, used by trained communicators and negotiators. When speaking, move your eye contact slowly between the listener's left eye, right eye, and mouth. This pattern creates a sense of genuine engagement and intimacy that makes the person feel genuinely seen. And people defer to those who make them feel seen. Silence signal number 4. The pause before you respond. This is one of the most underused, most powerful tools available to anyone who wants to command respect. Most people respond immediately to questions, challenges, or statements. The response follows the stimulus with almost no gap, and that immediacy, while it feels natural, communicates reactivity. It says, "I am responding to you," rather than thinking independently. The pause does something completely different. When you receive a question or a challenge, and you pause before responding, you communicate several things simultaneously. You communicate that your answer is worth taking time to formulate, that you are not at the mercy of the conversation's tempo, that you think before you speak, which is one of the rarest and most respected qualities in any social environment. The pause also has a practical benefit. The words that come after a pause are almost always better than the words that would have come without one, because you have had a moment to access your actual thinking rather than your reflexive response. Start small. 1 beat, 2 beats. Let the silence sit for just a moment longer than feels comfortable. The discomfort you feel is the discomfort of breaking a habit. The impact on others is immediate and significant. Silence signal number 5. What you do not react to. This is perhaps the most powerful silence signal of all. Every time someone says something designed to provoke, test, or destabilize you, and you do not react, you communicate something that cannot be faked, that you cannot be controlled through emotional manipulation. Insecure people react to everything, every slight, every challenge, every perceived disrespect, because their sense of self is fragile enough that they need to defend it constantly. Secure people do not because they do not notice, but because their internal stability does not require every external provocation to be addressed. When someone makes a pointed comment, and you respond with a calm, almost imperceptible smile, and say nothing, or redirect the conversation as if the comment was not even worth acknowledging, you have just communicated more about your confidence than any defensive response ever could. Non-reaction is the most advanced social move available, and it is the one that most people never develop, because it requires genuine internal stability, not just the performance of it. Silence signal number 6. Your relationship with stillness. Anxious people cannot be still. They fidget, they check their phone, they fill silences with noise. They move when there is nothing to move toward. The body expresses the internal agitation that the mind is working overtime to conceal. Still people are rare, and stillness, genuine, settled, comfortable stillness, is processed by the human brain as mastery. The person who can sit without fidgeting, stand without shifting, wait without checking, that person communicates something profound without a single word. I am comfortable here, in this moment, in this situation, in myself. And comfort in oneself, genuine embodied comfort, is magnetic. It is one of the rarest things a human being can display, and it draws people toward it in ways they often cannot explain. Practice stillness, not as a pose, as a genuine cultivation of the capacity to be present, without needing the moment to be different from what it is. Respect is not asked for. It is not argued into. It is not achieved through any combination of the right words. It is the natural response to someone whose presence communicates, "I know who I am. I know what I am here for. I do not need your validation to feel secure in either." That communication happens in silence, in the pace of your movement, in the steadiness of your gaze, in the pause before your response, in the things you choose not to react to, in the stillness that says, "This person is at home in themselves." Build that, not for others, for yourself. The respect follows automatically. Subscribe to Mind Vault. Share this with someone who needs to understand that their silence is more powerful than their words.